Before we get into the picks, just to look back at the comments for my question in Week 9, who do you guys have locking up the 2 AFC and NFC wildcard spots? You guys were absolutely incredible with this question of the week. It might be my most successful one yet. I got 70 responses for both the AFC and NFC wildcard spots, so thank you for making last week the best feedback I've gotten on a question of the week this season. Let's start with the NFC. There were 2 dominant teams in the NFC, the Vikings with 41% of the votes and the Falcons with 34% of the votes. I'd consider the Rams, Saints, and Seahawks as your guys' honorable mention. As for the AFC, there were 3 dominant teams, the Jets at 35%, the Steelers at 30% of your votes, and the Raiders at 25% of your votes, with the Bills as your guys' honorable mention for the AFC. It seems as though everyone is on the same page in terms of which teams will grab those wildcard spots, but I feel like the Falcons, my team, are just failing over the last 2 weeks. Good luck, they have the bye this week, and then they'll definitely be underdogs in Week 11. On featured games last week, I went 2-2 across the board. That's not terrible, but it's not that great either. Looking to get all these percentages up around 70% by the end of the season just looks tough. Okay, since you guys made last week's question of the week such a success, I'm bringing back an old question, as I urge you guys to try to top it this week in Week 10. Give me your bold predictions in Week 10. I don't want upset games or this team will beat this team. I want cold hard stats for a player, a team, a combination of teams in a matchup, etc. My bold prediction this week will be in the Dallas Cowboys at Tampa Bay Buccaneers matchup. Jameis Winston and Matt Castle or Tony Romo. I don't know if they said Romo will be back this week or not, but the 2 QBs in that matchup will throw for a combined 7 touchdowns. Best comments will make the Week 11 video. Good luck. Now I think it's time we get into the games. The Buffalo Bills pulled the win last week against my upset pick in the Dolphins, and the Jets put up a winning rout against the Jaguars. These 2 teams won in opposite fashions last week. The Jets' defense dominated the Jaguars, while the Bills dominated on offense, hoisting 2 100-yard rushers and a wide receiver going for 150-plus yards. Both teams are top picks to take a wildcard spot in the AFC, but in my mind, I think defense wins championships. This matchup would be a coin flip for me, but the edge has to go to the home team. The Jets defense should be able to lock down Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy, should hold them under 100 yards apiece. Fitzpatrick has to keep the mistakes to a minimum, and the defense should be able to do the rest. Let's take the over 42.5 as I see the Jets winning 24-20. The Jets need to keep winning to keep their playoff hopes alive, seeing as there will be no way the Patriots end up not taking that division. There's not much I could say in this matchup between the Lions and Packers that won't go along the lines of Aaron Rodgers will be pissed. This will be one of those games where I think the spread is too high for Green Bay to handle, as I do think they will win outright. These 2 teams always play close matchups. You have to go all the way back to November 26th of 2009 to find a game where the Lions lost by more than 13 points. This is a good omen to take Detroit plus 13, as well as the over 47.5. This one should be close, but I think Aaron Rodgers and company will squeak out a win. This game, in my opinion, is the game of the week. Throw out the records when it comes to the Patriots versus the Giants. This one will be a bloodbath. Eli Manning always finds a way to be Tom Brady's kryptonite. Over the last 3 meetings of these teams, the Giants have won all 3, including 2 Super Bowls. These games are always very close and should come down to the wire. Do I think Tom Brady's undefeated season ends in New Jersey? No, I do not. Do I think the Giants will cover the 7.5 point spread? Hell yeah, I do. We should take the under 55 in this one. Everyone will be so crazy about taking the over that this game will run under. Out of the entire history of these 2 teams' matchups, which happens to be exactly 11 games, only one of those games went over 55 back in 2007. So again, another good omen for us to take the under 55 points. I don't think anyone is stopping the Patriots' train of pain this regular season. Let's jump right into the fan favorites. First things first, you can see my record for the lock and upset of the week under my icon in the top right corner. For my lock of the week, I'm taking the Oakland Raiders against the Minnesota Vikings. I know what you're all thinking, especially you, Gio. How can he pick against a team that has proven to be the NFL's dark horse this season? It's as simple as this. The Raiders put up 35 points in Pittsburgh. That's one of the hardest locations to play at, and they never seemed like they were going to give up in that one. Now, insert them playing at home, and you have another check in the loss column for the Vikings. Derek Carr and Amari Cooper have been breathing life into this storied franchise, and come Sunday, the black hole will be bumping. The upset pick of the week, I'm feeling the Washington Redskins over the New Orleans Saints. Nothing really has to be said about this game as well. I'm not playing off the Saints, I just think their horrendous defense got overlooked on a night when Breeze put up 7 touchdowns. An away game for the Saints after a big loss at home does not bode well with me. Last week in the Fantasy Football League, I ended up losing to the Bounty Hunters. Next week, I will look to get back on track against Robert's Sports Show. It's time to make a late fantasy push with the fantasy football playoffs right around the corner. A quick update for my ESPN Eliminator Challenge. John Harrington 78 is still at the top, but he did lose in Week 9 by picking the Saints. Now, there are 2 people tied for first, John Harrington 78 and Halfmoon's picks. But John holds the tiebreaker and currently sits at the top. There are 4 people tied for 3rd place and 3 people tied for 7. So to reiterate that, there are 4 people behind the top dogs by 1 game, and there are another 3 people, including myself, that are behind by 2 games. The later weeks will make this interesting, as picks will come far and few between. If you guys want more videos like this, then show some appreciation by hitting that like button and smashing that subscribe button. I will see you guys, as always, in Week 11.